Mr. Speaker, on June 6, 1944, Canada was involved in the largest amphibious operation in military history, involving Allied forces from land, sea, and air. It is remembered as D-Day. It was the opening day of the Allies' efforts to free Western Europe from the enemy. 15,000 of Canada's finest would battle on D-Day in the Normandy campaign which followed. Sadly, 359 Canadians lost their lives that day, and more than 1,000 were wounded. Through the summer of 1944, the fighting continued against a relentless enemy. The Allied troops persisted, and by August, Paris was liberated. The Normandy campaign was over, but what will never end is our duty to remember all those who fought and served so long ago, so that tyranny would be driven away and security and hope would take its place, lest we forget.
The RCMP found no evidence of wrongdoing on the part of the Prime Minister or the Conservative Party, and now two independent audio forensic experts have determined that the tape is incomplete, doctored, and edited. Canadians deserve to know the truth in this matter, Mr. Speaker. The Liberals need to come clean and explain their involvement in the doctored tape. The Liberal leader must answer some very important questions. When did the Liberal Party obtain the tape? Before or after it was doctored? Was the Liberal Party aware of or perhaps involved in the doctoring of the tape? And why didn't the Liberal Party at least make sure the tape was authentic? Poorly done, Canadians deserve.
The Honourable Canada. Surely to goodness, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of Canada must have been informed by the police about Madame Quia. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Well, I guess the error that Mr. Cormos committed back when he was the NDP Premier of Ontario was that he actually appeared in the newspaper fully clothed, unlike that gentleman when he appeared on Rick Mercer without any clothes.
That's right.
I think the questions that he's indicating in the House indicate the same lack of clothes on that would-be emperor.
The Honourable...
Well, if she wants to believe Donna Cadman says the Prime Minister is telling the truth and she's right. And Mr. Speaker, we have said from day one that the only offer made to Chuck Cadman was that we offered for him to rejoin the Conservative caucus, run for the nomination, and get re-elected as a Conservative. The Liberals have made false and malicious attacks against the Prime Minister of this country, and they're going to pay for that in a court of law. The RCMP have said nothing inappropriate happened here. Two forensic audio experts have said the tape was doctored and edited in a way to misrepresent the conversation. The Liberals have falsely smeared the Prime Minister of this country, and we will see them in court.
How many times do Western Canadian farmers have to tell this government that farmers themselves should decide their future?
I'm very surprised that the member would get up today and ask a Wheat Board question, because the big news in Western Canada is that Canadian Wheat Board producer survey. Yesterday, Mr. Hill, the chair, said that 57% of producers supported barley freedom. He actually meant wheat freedom. The numbers for barley are 70%, Mr. Speaker. So 3/4 of Western Canadian farmers are asking for freedom. Mr. Speaker, I have to tell you that survey was done by David Hurley, a friend of the member from Wascana and the former Liberal campaign manager across this country.
Mr. Speaker, the big news in Western Canada and the big news in this city is the minister's spin. That's why he came out yesterday with his statements before the official survey was released. I have it right here, Mr. Speaker. And the actual involved farmers are split 50-50. Why does the Parliamentary Secretary and his minister continue to try and mislead Canadians on where farmers really stand relative to the Canadian Wheat Board? It's time the Parliamentary Secretary was honest on this survey in this House.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Natural Resources. Order.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there's a reason why the member from Wascana has been so quiet the last few months on this issue, because he knows better than the member from Malpeque that Western Canadian farmers want freedom. And let me give you the numbers, Mr. Speaker. On barley, for a completely open market, 25% want that, 45% want choice. That adds up to 70%, doesn't it, Mr. Speaker? On wheat, 44% want a dual market. Another 12% want a completely open market. That adds up to 56%. We need freedom for Western Canadian farmers, and we need it now.